Hey everyone! Today we're going to dig into something super important. How to make any idea, any product, any pitch you have absolutely unforgettable. We're going to be drawing from the incredible work of Sam Horn to give you a framework that'll make your best ideas finally get the attention they deserve.
Do you remember the early days of American Idol? You'd see some super talented singer get voted off and everyone would be like, what? Why? Well, Simon Cowell, in his, let's call it, brutally honest way, he nailed the problem. The guy was good, sure, but he wasn't memorable. And that's the thing. In a world that's just overflowing with ideas, being just good isn't nearly good enough.
And really, that's the challenge for all of us, isn't it? Whether you're in a crowded market, a packed meeting, or just trying to get noticed online, the biggest threat to a great idea isn't that it's bad, it's that it's invisible. So our goal isn't just to join the conversation, it's to break out and actually lead it. So how do we do that? Well, it all starts with the first letter of our framework, P for purposeful. This means your message, your idea, it has to have a laser-focused goal. For anyone who hears it, it has to immediately answer the question, what's in it for me? If they're confused even for a second, you've probably already lost them.
Next up, we've got O for original. You know, the absolute best way to beat your competition is to make them totally irrelevant. Think about it. If you're one of 1,000 dentists, you're competing on price. But if you're the only one who does what you do, you're in a category all by yourself. Originality is your secret weapon. And our final letter is another P, this time for pithy. Pithy just means short, sweet, to the point. We're living in a world with the attention span of like a goldfish. And here's the deal. If your message is more than about 7 words long, the human brain literally can't hold on to it. And if they can't remember it, they can't share it, they can't buy it, they can't do anything with it.
And so, you put it all together, purposeful, original, pithy, and what do? You get pop. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful system for cutting through all that noise and making sure your ideas get noticed, get remembered, and most importantly, get results.
Okay, theory is great, right? But how do we actually use pop in the real world? Let's open up the toolkit and we'll start with a technique for coming up with a name that is just unforgettable.
This one is called the alphabetizing technique. And I know it sounds almost too simple to work, but trust me, it's pure genius. You just take your main word, your core concept, and you literally run it through the alphabet, swapping out that first sound.
And here is the perfect real-world example. So General Mills, they needed a name for yogurt that came in a tube for kids who are always on the move. So they started with their core word, yogurt. Then they did the trick, A-gurt, B-gurt, C-gurt, you get the idea, all the way until bam! They hit on the perfect name, Go-gurt. It tells you exactly what it is.
And once you know this trick, you start seeing it absolutely everywhere. A happy hour for dogs? Yappy hour. A way to breathe underwater that's kind of like a mix of snorkeling and scuba? Snooba. A dating site for techies? Geek to Geek. These names are so good because they're original, they're pithy, and they tell you the whole story in just a word or two.
Okay, so a great name gets their attention. But next, you need a killer pitch so they understand your idea in like 5 seconds flat. So how do you pull that off?
You use what's called the Valley Girl technique. You take your new, kind of unfamiliar idea and you connect it to something your audience already knows and loves. It creates this instant shortcut in their brain, a total aha moment. It's like building a mental bridge for them.
And this just shows you the power of it perfectly. Imagine trying to explain Dave & Buster's for the first time. You could say, it's a high-tech entertainment complex, and watch their eyes glaze over. Or you could say, it's like Chuck E. Cheese's for adults. Which one immediately paints a perfect picture in your head? Exactly. The pop pitch wins every time.
Here's another fantastic example. There was this researcher, Wally, who was having a really hard time getting people to take his work on whale communication seriously. I mean, it sounded a little out there. So what did he do? He borrowed some credibility from the movie The Horse Whisperer. He started calling himself the Whale Whisperer, and all of a sudden, people weren't confused anymore. They were fascinated.
So, you've got a great name. You've got a killer pitch. The final piece of the puzzle is making sure your core message doesn't just get understood, but it actually gets repeated. How do you make your idea truly sticky?
We've all heard cliches a million times, right? They're like mental wallpaper. Our brains are basically trained to just tune them out. But when you take one of those familiar old sayings and you give it a clever twist, you do the exact opposite. You make people lean in and really listen. It's surprising, it's smart, and it is definitely memorable.
This right here is the absolute masterclass in rearranging a cliché. His coach, Phil Jackson, hits Michael Jordan with that classic line, "There's no I in team."
And Jordan's reply? It's legendary. He takes that tired old phrase, flips it on its head, and in doing so, reveals this deeper truth about his mindset. It's just perfect.
And you see this kind of thing in marketing all the time. Taking a really famous philosophical quote and turning it into a modern, clever tagline for a game-changing product. It makes the brand feel smart, and it positions the product as, like, an essential part of who you are.
So, let's bring it all home. Here's the big takeaway. Don't let your great ideas get buried in the noise. They deserve a fighting chance. Make them purposeful so they have a clear mission. Make them original so they create their very own category. And make them pithy so they become absolutely unforgettable.
So the real question here isn't about these examples. It's about you. Think about that project you have, that pitch you're preparing, that business you're building. What's the one thing you're working on right now that really, truly needs to pop?